Hi, my name is Darren Beckett and this is ACM. So my role at ACM, I'm a performance tutor. I also have been taking on ensemble, two different ensembles, one on New York music through the decades, because I lived in New York. I was born in Ireland originally, but I lived in New York for 23 years and I just moved back here to the UK. So I kind of have an understanding of music in New York, and I've studied music from the 50s and 60s and 70s. So we'll go through different periods of music. We'll pick a song, we'll play it, and that's open for all musicians, not just drummers. I also did an LA workshop, and that was the same thing. We were going through different periods of time, 50s, 60s, Beach Boys, 70s, Neil Young. We pick a song from each decade, we learn it, and we try to perform it and put our own spin on it. But my main role is I'm teaching the technique and the performance drums. So I started playing drums at a pretty young age. I was born in Ireland, and I left Ireland when I was 16, studied in Germany at the Cologne Conservatory for jazz. Moved to New York when I was 18, and I finished my degree at the New School. I continued to live there and work there, and since I've been a drummer, some of the highlights, I'm the drummer with Brandon Flowers. I've played on his last two solo albums. I co-wrote his last lead single, Can't Deny My Love. I've toured with him. I've toured with Lauryn Hill. I was in a band called Ambulance Ltd back in New York in 2005 on TVT Records. I have played a ton of jazz stuff in New York. Aaron Parks, Joshua Redman, different people. I do play different styles of music. Currently, I'm about to embark on a tour with Howie Payne from The Stands, which is a Liverpool band. And then I'm going off to LA to play with Amber Kaufman from the Dirty Projectors and do her tour. But I've made a living just diversifying my career. I'm teaching, I'm touring, writing. I've written music for commercials, movies. So I'm not only a drummer, I also play piano and I write as well. Yeah, my main touring gigs are actually Madeline Peru, who's a jazz singer, and Brandon Flowers, who's a pop singer. So it's opposite ends of the spectrum. And as a session drummer, it's important that you, as a student at school, learn different styles because they complement each other. One of the highlights of my career, I think just purely because when I was a kid in Ireland, growing up in Belfast, I had big ambitions, and my mother always used to say to me, you know, the only way to Carnegie Hall, son, is practice, practice, practice. And I played Carnegie Hall with Madeline Peru actually about 6 years ago. So that was definitely a highlight to play there. My family flew over for it, so you know, it was a big moment for me. And I think also just being more involved in the writing and co-writing with Brandon Flowers and being a part of that song, and it was just a different. It was a different thing for me to do that, you know. So I'm proud that, and it was a #1 album. It was the first single, and it was kind of really the first big song I've done. And I was proud of the fact that I'm not just touring and playing, I'm also going another way too. So it's, you know, as I get older, I can see there's other avenues of my career that hopefully will continue. Recently, we had a little bit of time off from ACM for Easter. I was doing some clinics in Ireland. I was rehearsing for this tour that's coming up in May with Howie Payne from The Stands. And basically I'm just learning music for gigs. The most important thing I'm doing is spend time with my kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and my wife. And we moved to Brighton about 8 months ago. So I'm just enjoying being by the sea and doing things with the kids. You know, that takes priority. I think one of my favorite grooves is probably, there's a couple of different grooves. As a groove, Jeff Porcaro, probably one of the best drummers ever just for playing grooves. Rosanna, shuffle. I think every drummer knows that, but it's hard to play. Bernard Purdy does an example of it. I like Kashmir, Bottom. It's a very simple groove. Steve Gadd, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, great groove. Anything that Elvin Jones plays, that's a groove to me.